The session is Unix. Why we use Unix in ETL testing and which is the software generally used. So the answer is the client is using the Unix environment. So first is question is why Unix is used in ETL testing. So the answer is client is using the Unix platform. So we need to know the basic Unix command. Fine, guys. Next question is which is the software used to execute the Unix commands. Unix commands. The answer is PuTTY. PuTTY is the software which is used to execute the Unix commands. Now, the next topic is, guys, the Unix description and some kind of practice if we want to do. So, this is the link, guys. Okay, let me just write down here to practice Unix command. Yeah, guys. So to practice Unix command, you can just click on this particular link. Let me just click on here and let me just open this. Bingo. This is 64-bit. And we need to install this. Next. This is basically GitHub software, guys. Let me just open this. Now, just suppose I want to use a command ls. So what I can do is I can write here ls and I can enter. So these are the list of files. Okay, so if you want to practice Unix command for your practice purpose, you can just download and install in the same way. Next, finish. And the link I have already shared to you. Okay, fine. Now, yeah. So some of the Unix command is present in these links and all, and some of the Unix command I have written here. Like WinSCP is a software for transferring the file from Windows to Unix environment, guys. Remember, whenever you use the software WinSCP, there are two environment. If we want to directly pass the files from Windows environment to the Unix environment, WinSCP is the software. And the commands, guys, here is like pwd. This command will print the present working directory. ls, this command will display the files in your current directory. So suppose if you want to practice, you can just write here pwd, enter. So this is your present working directory, C users tell. This is the present working directory. If I write here ls, then what will happen? It will display the files present in this particular list. So ls is the list which will display the files present. See here, this is shown. Similarly, guys, there are commands like ls-l. This command will list the file name, permission, group size in long format. So if you just want to practice these things, you can just practice here for your understanding. Okay. So any issues you have, you can just practice again and again. And guys, you can just see here what are the commands here. Suppose ls minus l, that means in the long format mkdir. So this command used to make the directory. Suppose I want to create a folder. So I can write here mkdir and I just want to create a folder, suppose abc. Then what happened? One folder is created whose name is abc. cd is used to change the directory, will change the directory from the current directory to the next directory. So this is the cd command used to change the directory from one directory to the other directory. Then guys, there's a cat which shows the content of the file. Suppose you write the cat and the file name, that will show the content of the particular file here. If any file is present, suppose I write list. And in this, if I see any file is there, suppose this is a file. Any file is there, suppose this is a file. If it is a file, then if you want to see the content of the file, you can just paste it, okay? And then you can just give enter, and then that will show the file content if it is present. Next is guys, head will display the header of a file. By default 10 lines of a file. Tail will display the list the file, the tailor of the file. By default the 10 lines, that means tailor section 10 lines. wc will count the characters, words, lines in a file depending on the options. So that wc is called as word count, so which is used to uh, count the number of characters, words, all those things. Suppose wc counts the character, word, lines in a file depending on the option. wc minus l will print the total lines in a file. wc minus w will print the number of words in a file. wc minus c will print the total number of characters in a file. cp is used to copy a file. So cp, existing file name to the new file name if I want to copy. mv is mv, old file name to do new file name is move. rmdir if you want to remove any directory, okay? So rm to delete the existing file, okay? Now diff, this is an important command, will show the difference between two file, diff file 1 comma file 2. And how to show the running process in Unix, that is ps minus ef. This is again a important command, will show the running process in Unix, ps minus ef. Unzip in Unix is unzip minus j and then file name dot zip. To remove the first line of a file, sed1d, okay? If sed command is used to delete the lines from a file, 1d first line, 2d to second line, like that. Again, grep is used to search a particular file or folder. So grep, and then you have to write down the particular file name, and then it will search the particular file in the particular directory. Suppose grep star.txt, it will search all the txt. Again, this is an important command, awk, used to manipulate data for generating reports. Suppose awk print employee.txt, then it will search for the print word in that particular employee.txt file. awk manager, then print employee.txt will print the manager in a line. So if there are in a line, if there are managers, it can just to find out that. So awk you have to use, you remember, used for manipulating data and generating report first of all. And suppose a particular pattern I want to know in a file manager, what is there, so I can write here awk manager and find that particular file. Suppose I want to cut the third column, so cut minus d and then delimiter and field file.txt. That means cut minus d is the delimiter. Suppose delimiter is semicolon and then field is 3. That means third column if I want to cut, this is our answer. Many times this is asked that what we do if we want to cut the third particular column. So this is the WinSCP software, guys. If you want to know WinSCP, WinSCP is nothing but copying the file from the Windows to the Unix. So one side, what will happen? Unix will be there, and one side, Windows will be there. We can just click on move, and it will move from Windows environment to the Unix environment. So basic commands you have to remember, guys, like copy, move, grep. The copy is used to copy a file, move is used to move a file, WC is used to count the characters, words, mkdir is used to make the directory, awk is used to find a particular pattern, and then like this, so few commands. Grep is used to search a particular file or folder. Diff will give the difference between two file. And running processes will be given by ps minus ef. These are few commands I have written, and there are link I have shared which you can refer if you want to know some more commands. I'll just show that. So let me just open this one. So this is again basic Unix command. Here also it is written ls will list your files. ls minus l list your files in long format. ls minus l list all the files including the one whose file name begins in a dot. Then move file one, file name one comma file name two, cp file name one comma file name two. Move is used to move. Copy is used to copy a file. rmdir is used to remove the directory. Difference of file one comma file two. wc count. Chmod change the mode, and then directories mkdir make directory. Cd is used to change the directory. Pwd is used to find the present directory. Finding things, suppose grep string file name. So grep is used to find the files or a folder, and like that, guys. All the commands are there. Kill pid if I want to kill the present directory. Okay, so these are the Unix command, guys. I pasted the list. Okay, just refer here. And this is also a particular link. We want to go with examples. You can go and refer to this particular link. Suppose here, example, suppose employee file is there. Now, if I'm writing cat employee.txt, what will happen is show the content of the file. Now, if I write awk print employee.txt, all the content of the file is shown. Now I want to search manager, suppose. So I've written single quotation manager. Now what will happen is all the managers whichever present in this particular lines will be shown. So this is also a link I have written. So you can just go through the link and study more. Basic Unix command you should know. Sometimes they will ask what is grep, what is how to get the present working directory, pwd, how to check the running process in Unix, ps minus ef. If I want to find a particular pattern, I will use awk. So these are the basic thing, basic commands: copy, move, rename, make directory, delete directory, drop directory, count the number of characters, words, head, tail, cat, change directory. All these commands you should know, so that you can just tell that these are the commands I know, and they will ask and you can answer. So these are the Unix command, guys. Client is using that, so we are using Unix. Next is, guys, test scenarios. Now test scenario and test case, again, this is a very important topic, guys. So test scenario is what a high level document which consists of all the possible ways of testing an application. Okay, so test scenario is a high level document, guys. Fine. Test scenario is a high level document which consists of all the possible ways of testing an application. Nikhil, do you remember in one interview you were asked test scenario and test
Yes,
cases?
sir. Yes, sir.
So test scenario, what will happen is it's a high level document. Okay. Suppose an accident happened. Okay. So now on a high level, we will tell a particular accident has happened. Okay. Now two people got injured. Okay. And they have been transferred to a particular hospital. Not much major damage has happened, just little bit cut. Now this is a high level scenario. Now in detail, if I have to tell, I'll have to specifically tell Mr. Mohan and Mr. Shohan got the accident at 9 a.m. with the vehicle number WC3458. Mr. Mohan and Mr. Shohan were driving on the right lane and the accident happened with the another car and with the number BK4432. The accident happened, the mistake was of, suppose, the other car. His name was Mr. Rohan. Now, what will happen after the accident? People accumulated, and then what happened? They taken both of them at 9:15 to the nearest hospital, Hospital Apollo. He is admitted to bed number 16, and Mr. Rohan is admitted to bed number 17. The prescriptions given is this medicine. All the expenses were handled by Mr. Shohan, who made the accident. Insurance has been filed. So this is what a detail level explanation. Whenever there is a detail level explanation, that becomes a test case. So test scenarios are generally written in MS Word. It can be also written in Excel, but you tell MS Word. Generally, it is written in MS Word, and it is written in Excel. So what is test scenario? Is a high level document. This is a detailed document which consists of all inputs and navigation steps. So this consists of all the inputs and navigation steps. So test scenario, what is test scenario? It is a high level document which consists of all possible ways of testing and application. Okay. So this consists of all the possible ways of testing and applications. Okay, it's a high level document, okay, which consists of all the possible ways of testing and application. This is a detailed document which consists of inputs and navigation steps. Okay, that's the difference. So I've written here test scenario. It is a high level document which consists of all the possible ways of testing and application. So where test scenario is written, generally MS Word, it can be written in MS Excel also. So both you can tell. Now after that, guys, this comes is what are the rules to write a test scenario? Okay. So the rules to write a test scenario is test scenario should be simple and not more than 2 to 3 lines. First thing you have to understand, it is not that you will write a paragraph for test scenarios of 10 lines. No. Test scenario should be very, very simple and not more than 2 to 3 lines. Test scenario should be written end to end. End to end, guys. That means a person met an accident and was admitted to a hospital. End to end, you have to write down the test scenarios. Test scenario consists of do's and check. Check is also called as verify. These 3 points we should keep in mind while we explain the test scenario. So first of all, here I will write down, this is the definition of test scenario. Let me just write down. Okay. This is the definition of test scenario. Next is where the test scenarios are written. Next is rules to write the test scenarios. Next, we'll see some of the test scenarios. You have a better clarity. Test scenarios for ETL testing, guys. First, it will consist of serial number. Then it will consist of what, guys? Test scenarios. Now, what will happen is serial number 1. Verify the structure of source and target. Okay, first thing is what the word I have written is verify. You can write check, but more professional word is verify. Verify the structure of source and target. Then this is the verify section, and then do section. Do section is this one, which I have not highlighted. What we have to write here? First, we have to write verify the structure of source and target by opening the database and opening the respective source and target table structure. First of all, you have to open the database and then open the respective source and target table structure. This is test scenario 1, end to end. First, this is verify section. This is do section. This is the do section.
Sir, as a ETL tester, also write test cases or only do testing on the basis of document?
They write both test scenarios, test cases, and then do the testing. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the verify section. This blue color is the do section. By opening the database, opening the respective source and target table structure. What is the command used to see the structure? Do you remember? DESC table name. Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
This is structure validation is done. Next is verify the source and target count between the source, the table name of the source table, and target table, table name of the target, by opening the database and writing the count query for source table name and target table name. Fine, guys. So if we want to verify the count between the source and the target, we can open the database and write the count query. Next scenario is verify the data between source and the target table by opening the source and target table and comparing the data between them. Next is verify there's no duplicate in the primary key column in the target by opening the target table and writing the duplicate query for the column defined as primary key. Verify there's no null values for the column defined as not null by writing the query to check the column defined as not null. This is high level 5 test scenarios I have told. Fine, guys. Any doubts here? Any doubt? Are you clear, Nikhil? Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. Next is, guys, test case. So it is an in detail. First of all, you have to remember it is an in detail step-by-step procedure to test an application. It consists of all the possible inputs and navigation step. First question will be asked is what is a test case? So what is the answer? It is an in detail. First of all, it's a detailed document and it is having step-by-step process to test an application. It consists of all possible inputs and navigation steps. So when we write test cases, as soon as we get the requirement, what will happen? The test engineer will start writing the test cases. Next question is first is what is a test case? What is the answer for this, guys? What is the test case? It is an, everyone tell me, it is an in detail step-by-step procedure to test the application. It consists of all possible inputs and navigation steps. Am I clear, guys? Tell me yes or no. Nikhil, yes or no? Yes. Next is when we write the test case. What is the answer for this, Nikhil? What is the answer for this when we write the test case? As soon as we get the requirement, the test engineer will start writing the test cases. Yes or no, guys? Prachi, Rakesh, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So when we write the test case, what is the answer? As soon as we get the requirement, what the test engineer will do? He will start understanding the requirement and start writing the test cases. Next question is asked is why we write the test case. This is very important question. Why we write the test case? So answer is to have maximum test coverage. Test coverage means what, guys? All possible inputs, both positive and negative input. To have test consistency. Okay. So to have maximum test coverage means all the possible inputs, both positive and negative inputs will have. So we'll write the test case to have test consistency. There is consistency, guys. First we'll write the test case for login. Then we will write the test case for home page. Then we'll write a test case for chat. If it is a website, if it is a ETL application, first we'll write the test case for structure, then count, then minus, then duplicate, then null. Like that, there will be a consistency maintained. There will be time saving. Test engineer will not have to think the values again and again, so it will save the time. And testing will depend on process rather than person. So it depends completely on the process, guys, because every test engineer will test according to the document which is shared. So every test engineer, every time a new test engineer is recruited, okay, he did not need to be trained on the application. Rather, he can start testing by seeing the test cases. So he can see the test case and he can start doing test case testing. He do not need to be trained on that applications. Next are the few notes, guys. Notes are where the test cases are written. First of all, test cases are written where? Nikhil, are you there? Yes or no? Prachi, are you there? Where the
I'm
test
there.
cases are written? Where the test cases are written? Test cases are
Excuse-
written in a
excuse-
test case template. Where test cases are written? In test case template. It's a document called as what, guys? Test case template. Yes or no, guys? Rakesh, are you there? Yes. So test execution is what, guys? What is test execution? Anyone knows? Prachi, do you know what is test execution? Or Nikhil,
Uh,
do you know what is test execution?
Yes, sir. How to execute the test?
That means what we are doing, we are actually testing the application by seeing what? By seeing the test cases. Are you able to understand? Test execution is the actual testing. What will happen here is we will test the application by seeing the test cases. Now, guys, there is something called as a test evidence document. Test evidence document, that means if we are testing an application, suppose we have validated the count. So in the Word document, we will take the screenshot of the count of the source, count of the target, and we'll keep this screenshots to verify, to tell that these are the evidence document we have prepared. Let us see, guys, the test cases. Okay, which are the test cases, and I have divided into 4 modules. ETL test case, BI test case, initial load test case, and incremental load test case. So let us just understand, guys. So whenever a test case is asked from you, just draw this template. Remember this template. Don't tell him how to write, what to write. Don't tell all those things. This is the body of the test case, the main part. Just start writing. Step number, test description, action description, test data, SQL query, expected result, actual result, status, comments. This portion, this blue color portion, let me make it in one color. Let me just make it in some light color. This portion, yeah. This portion is called as, guys, test execution. What will happen here is the test cases are written, right? Test description is structure validation. Check the structure of the source and target with the help of STM document and compare the same. This is the action. Structure, the test description, this is one line, guys, description, why this test case is written. So this test case description is what, guys? Let me just make it bold. So what is the test case description telling? Structure validation. We have to validate this structure. Check the structure of source and target with the help of STM document and compare the same. We'll check the structure of the source and target. This is action description. Test data, the minimum set of data to proceed with testing. So username, password of the source and username, password of the target. SQL queries. Source DESC table name, target DESC table name. Expected result, structure between source and target must match. Actual result, structure. So this is the actual test execution. Are you understanding, guys? This is test execution from here to here. What is the expected result telling? Structure should match. Now what we'll do? We'll just check the is this structure matching. If the structure is matching, we'll write here structure is matching between source and target. Status is pass. This is called test execution. So what is test execution, Nikhil? Test execution is testing the application by saying what? Test case.
Actual result and status.
Yeah, testing the application by seeing the test cases. Okay, this portion is called test execution, guys. Here we are putting the actual result and status. Next is count validation. Logging to the source DB, check the count of the source. Login to the target DB, check the count of the target. Compare the source and the target count. So test data is username, password of source and target. Select count star from source. Select count star from target. Expected result is, guys, what? Source and target count should match. Count is matching between source and target. Status is pass. Like that, data validation, login into the database, compare the data between source and target. Select all the columns from source minus select all the columns from target. Union, select columns from target minus select column from source. No record found. Expected result is no record found. Actual result is no record found. Status is passed. Duplicate validation, go check there is no duplicate found in the column defined as primary key in the target. And then this is the test data, username, password of the target. Select column, count star from target table, group by column having count star greater than 1. Expected result is no record found. Actual result is no record found. Status is pass. Null validation, check the null column defined. Check the column defined as not null. is having no null value. Check the null column defined as not null in the target. Check the null. We can write like this. Check the null values for the check the null values for the column defined as not null in the target. So we'll check the null values for the column defined as not null in the target. So select star from target where column is null, no record found, no record found, status is passed. This is the 5 test case you have to write down. This is the actual test case. If you write only body, then also fine. Some people write the header and footer. So that is also the standard template. But main thing in the interviews and all, you have to write this one, or in your real work, you have to write this one. Header is nothing guys, test case name or ID. Suppose this is the name of the test case, Cheetah Max M01 test case version 1.00. Test case type, this is the integration test case. So I have written here integration test case. Next is the test data. Test data is the minimum set of data, DB credentials, username, password. Status, the overall test case status. If all these test steps are, these are called as test steps. If all these steps are passed, then what will happen? Overall status of the test case will be passed. This is requirement number R01, module number M01, release name, Cheetah, project name I have written as Max, severity, importance I have written critical, description, one line statement, why this test case is written. So this test case is written to test the data flow between source and the target. That's all is the test case. This test case is going to check the data flow between source and the target, and source table name and target table name we can write. Next is footer section. Author, the one who has written the test case. Reviewer, suppose Nikhil is the reviewer. He has reviewed the test case. I can write here approved by. Suppose Rakesh has approved this is the test lead. He can write on date, the date at which this test case is written. Suppose this is written today. So we can write here 14/11/2024. Now this is the ETL test case. Now comes the BI reporting test case. So here again I have written UI functionality. So the action description is open the report and validate the report by comparing it with the BI or BRD. BRD is nothing but your BI business requirement document or requirement. And now in UI functionality I have written what? Compare the alignment, color, font, typo, and nowadays they are also checking the tooltip. Or we'll write it into functionality. Leave this. We'll write into the functionality. UI validation is what, guys? User interface. Open the report and validate the report by comparing it with the business requirement document or requirement document. Compare the alignment, color, font, and typo. This is one particular test case. Functionality, there are different functionality, guys, like export functionality. Export the report in the Excel sheet or PDF or HTML. Check the report is exported correctly. Next is functionality, drill up and drill down. From sub report to the main report, if we are getting up, that is drill up, and if we are getting down, that is drill down. So drill up and drill down of the main report to the sub report by clicking on the sub report is working properly. Links and button, click on the links and buttons and check their click on the links and button, okay, and see that links are working or not, okay. And functions, all the filters, apply filters on the report. Functionality of the print, so print functionality should work. One more I just wanted to increment here. Nowadays they are using the tooltip, they are writing separately. So let me just introduce one more, guys, here. Yeah. Functionality tooltip. Tooltip while mouse over or hover sometime till mouse over should be working properly. Yes, guys. Next is the data validation. This is the actual all the data of the report should match with the data warehouse. Should be matching with the data warehouse. Next is the performance of the report. Data is loaded in the report, check the stability and the response time of the report. Now this is the action description, guys. This is step number, this is test description, this is action SQL queries, and then now here. Now this is UI test case, first test case. Open the report and validate the report by comparing it with the business requirement document and comparing 4 things. What are the things we are comparing? Alignment, color, font, and typo. So go here and see the expected result. All contents in BI report and BRD should match. Now here we can write full, we can write here all the contents in BI and BRD are matching, or we can just write as expected and can make the status as pass. Either we can write here as expected, or yes, we can also write yes, or we can write full. All contents in BI report and BRD is matching. Should matching will be is matching, and we can make the status as pass. Next is functionality like export functionality. Action is export the report in the Excel sheet or PDF and check the report is exported correctly. Expected result is all the reports should be exported in the specific format. Okay. As expected, status is passed. Next is drill up. Drill up and drill down of the main report, the sub report by clicking on the sub report. Okay, by clicking on the sub report, let's write down here by clicking on the sub report. Okay, let us not write down the expected result part here. Drill up and drill down of the main report to the sub report by clicking on the sub report. Export the report in Excel or PDF. Okay, just write down the do part here. Yes. This is the action, guys. Functionality export export functionality. Export the report in Excel or PDF or HTML, and expected result is all reports should be exported in specific format. Actual result is as expected, status is passed. Next, functionality like drill up and drill down. Drill up and drill down of the main report to the sub report. Okay, so click on the sub report. Okay, this is the action, guys. And then what is the expected result? We will be drill down from the main report to the sub report, or drill up from the main report to the sub report. Drill down or drill up from main report to the sub report. As expected, status is passed. Next, links and button. Click on the links and button. Expected result is all links and buttons should be clickable and working fine. Next is filter. Apply filter on the result. Expected is data in the report should be displayed as per the filter selected. Fine. Next is print the report, and then what will happen? Printing of the report should be clear without any cut on the printed report. Next is functionality of the tooltip while mouse over tooltip. Tooltip, the functionality is what, guys? Tooltip. So just write here mouse over the report. What will happen? Expected these things will be not applicable, your test data and your SQL query. Expected result you have to write is a mouse over the report. Expected result will be what, guys? The necessary information after mouse over. The necessary information after mouse over should be displayed. That means we'll do a mouse over and the necessary information should be displayed. Expected result is as expected, status is pass. Status is as expected and status is passed. Fine, guys. Next is data validation. All data in the report should be matching with the data warehouse. So what will happen? This is the queries which we have used. Okay, data validation queries. All data in the report should match with the data warehouse. So we have written the data validation query, guys. Let me just write down the data validation query. So this is the data validation query. Suppose I've written select column 1, max of cell from fact table, join dimension table, on the joining condition, okay, and then group by C1. Yesterday I was telling you the data modeling, okay. So using that I have joined it, okay, and then what will happen is, guys, is we have written this query in the data warehouse. Now data between the report and data warehouse, data between the report and data warehouse must match. Example, maximum cell for a particular region should be displayed and expected result is as expected, status is passed. Next is performance of the report. Data is loaded in the report. Check the stability and response time of the report. Response time should be very fast and report should be stable, and status is as expected. And then these are initial load and incremental load test cases. So this is step number 1, test description. These topics I have already taught you, right? Initial load, incremental load, and all those things I have already taught you. Fine, guys. So I written here, verified the workflow job execution, run the workflow, and the expected result is workflow should be executed successfully. Workflow ran successfully, status is passed. Fine, guys. Next is your verify duplicate record in the target table. Check there is no duplicate found in what column defined as in the column defined as primary key. So I have written the duplicate query, no record found, no record found, status is passed. Next is verify surrogate key sequence in order. These are different test cases. The surrogate key should be always in sequence order in the initial load. So this is a separate test case I have written, okay. So to check the sequence order, we can just write down the query in the descending order or ascending order, and we can just verify that the surrogate key is in the sequence order or not, okay. And if it is there, we'll write as expected and status is passed. Next is the verify the duplicate record in the surrogate key. This is simple. There should not be any duplicate record in the surrogate key. We'll write the duplicate query and check, and then ensure surrogate key is not null. So again, we can write that where that particular column is null and there should not be any null value in that surrogate key, because surrogate key cannot be null. Now this is a new test case I have written here, guys. Verify effective start date with the ETL process date, okay. So start date and ETL process date, what will happen is we have to check the ETL effective start date and ETL process date are same, because the process date at which the ETL is starting and the ETL start date, this should be same, guys, okay. This should not be different, okay. And if it is different, then it is a bug. So ETL start date and ETL process date should be same. Next is the if effective end date and effective start date should not be same, guys. So if it is same, then what will happen? That will become a bug here. So I have written here effective end date equal to effective start date. Okay, this should not be there, and output should be no record found. Next is verify initial record have same date. So all the initial record for the load date will have the same date. So select distinct load date from the target table. Only one record should be displayed, and this is the status should be passed. Next is verify the columns should not have null value. All the date columns and all should not have null value, and this division key, effective start date, effective end date, okay, and ETL process date, okay, all these columns I have written, they should not have null value. We'll just check that. Select all these columns where this is null, and date column should not have null value. Date column are not are not null or not null. Status is passed. Next is that verify one record exists with flag equal to active equals to A. So this is again a separate test case, guys. Till 9 is fine. If you want to write the active and all for the SCD types, you can just write down. Suppose an active flag is there. The most updated record is flag is what? A. So you can write the active record filter condition should be A, and active flag record is A. Then status is 5. Verify the source and target column mapping, count, and error log. These are the normal validations like count minus and then logs and all, which I have written separately. So main thing is the workflow job execution, initial load, duplicate records in the target page. Surrogate key, we have to validate it very thoroughly in the initial load. Sequence number, duplicate in surrogate key, null in the surrogate key. This date columns, guys, start date and process date, this should be same. Then end date and start date should not be same. So, and then verify all in the initial load date should be same. Okay, all these date column should not be null. Active flag should be A. Then we can check the column mapping count and the error log. Next is the incremental load, guys. Few of the scenarios I have written. Okay, for incremental load, I have already done this testing and taught you. So if you remember, so first is the verify the workflow. Then you will run the workflow and workflow should run successfully. Next is the verify the source and record count for the inserted record. Okay, and then what will happen is here, guys, in the incremental load, whatever records we are inserting, so insert few record for the from the source and run the workflow. So what will happen is select counter star from source where the date at which it has run, and select counter star from target where the date at which it has been loaded. This count between the source and target must match. Next is the verify the source and count for the updated records. So update few records from the source and run the workflow. So select count to start from source where date equals to this. We can put the date conditions and we can validate the count. Next is verify the duplicate in the target table. Next is the verify the surrogate key values attributes value changes for the existing record. Next is verify the effective start date is not changed for the old records. Next is verify the effective start date and end date are always different. And next is verify effective end date for all incremental record is same. Next is verify effective end date is updated properly for the old records. And next is last is guide verify ETL process date column values for the incremental load. So these are the date columns I have written, guide. Start date, end date should be always different, and then the end date for all the incremental load should be always same. Okay, and effective end date is updated properly for the old records. So these are the test cases, and again I have written here also. This test case is same test case, guys. This test case, the same test case I have written everywhere, and here I have written the attaching the test cases in the same document so that you can just go through these test cases. And then, guys, ETL test case, BI test case, initial load test cases, incremental load test cases. Then it's a topic called as quality center, guys, and then I will take quality center, and then I will start Jira, Informatica and Tidal. I'll complete on Monday, and Tuesday I will be closing your syllabus. After I complete Informatica, I'll close this syllabus. Some topics of manual and all I will take on Tuesday, and your CV preparation and all those things. Okay, fine, guys. Let me just stop.